The night it happened, the city looked like it was holding its breath. Rain clung to the streets like unshed tears, and the glow from high-rise windows reflected off puddles as if the ground itself were watching lives unfold above it. In that quiet chaos, two worlds passed each other every day without ever truly seeing one another, until one moment, heavy with chance and pain, forced them to stop. That moment did not arrive with noise or spectacle. It arrived softly, like a heart learning to open after years of being closed. If you believe that kindness can change destinies, that second chances still matter in a world rushing past pain, take a second right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still waiting to be seen. Ayan had learned early that survival was not heroic. It was repetitive, exhausting, and invisible. Each morning before the city fully woke, he rose from the same corner under the flyover, brushing dust from his clothes and stiffening his spine against the cold. The traffic above him roared like a reminder of everything moving forward without him. Once, long ago, he had moved with purpose too. He had worn clean shirts, held tools in his hands, and returned home tired but proud. That life faded slowly after his factory shut down, after illness drained savings, after people stopped answering his calls. Poverty did not arrive as a sudden fall. It crept in, stealing dignity piece by piece, until one day he realized he had become part of the background. On the other side of the city, wrapped in glass and polished floors, lived Zara. Her life was measured in meetings, milestones, and metrics. She woke to alarms that reminded her of success, not survival. From her apartment window, the city looked beautiful and orderly, a place where ambition always paid off. She had grown up believing that effort guaranteed reward, that life was fair if one played by the rules. It was not cruelty that shaped her perspective, but distance. She did not see the cracks from where she stood. Their worlds collided on an evening that neither would ever forget. A sudden downpour flooded the street near Zara's office, trapping cars in snarled traffic. Exhausted and impatient, she chose to walk the last few blocks, heels splashing through water, mind still racing with deadlines. Near the underpass, she slipped. The fall was sharp and humiliating, her ankle twisting as pain flared through her body. The crowd flowed around her like water around a stone. No one stopped. No one looked long enough to care. Ayan saw her because he always watched the ground. Years of hunger had trained his eyes to notice dropped coins, discarded food, forgotten things. He saw her struggle, saw fear replace confidence in her eyes, and something inside him moved. He did not think about who she was or what she had. He thought only of how pain felt when no one helped. Despite the ache in his own legs, he crossed the wet pavement and steadied her before she fell again. Helping her was not heroic either. It was awkward and slow. His clothes were soaked, his hands rough, his presence something people like her were taught to avoid. Yet in that moment, none of that mattered. He found her a place to sit, shielded her from the rain with a torn plastic sheet he carried for nights like this, and flagged down help when he could not carry her himself. He stayed until he was sure she was safe. Zara was unsettled in ways she could not explain. It was not just the pain in her ankle, but the quiet dignity of the man who helped her without expecting anything. She noticed his trembling hands, the hunger in his eyes that had nothing to do with greed. For the first time, poverty was not a statistic or a passing image through a car window. It was a human being kneeling in the rain so she would not feel alone. Days passed, but the moment stayed with her. From her office window, the city no longer looked the same. She found herself noticing people she had once overlooked. The man cleaning glass doors before sunrise, the woman selling flowers at traffic lights, the countless lives stitched together by struggle. The certainty she carried about fairness began to crack, replaced by questions she could not ignore. Zara returned to the underpass one afternoon, her ankle still healing, her steps slower and more deliberate. She found Ayan sitting where he always did, sorting through scraps he had collected. Recognition flickered between them, followed by something gentler, trust. She did not arrive with grand gestures. She arrived with conversation, with listening, with a willingness to sit on cold concrete and hear a story she had never made time for before. Ayan spoke of work lost to machines, of hospitals that asked for money before mercy, of friends who disappeared when need became inconvenient. He did not speak with bitterness. He spoke with acceptance, the kind that comes from long battles fought quietly. Zara listened, and with every word, her understanding deepened. She realized how easily life could tilt, how thin the line was between security and survival. Change did not happen overnight. It came in small, stubborn steps. Zara used her connections not as charity, but as bridges. She helped Ayan access medical care without humiliation. She found a local workshop willing to train and employ him, not out of pity, but because his hands still knew how to work. She checked in often, not as a savior, but as someone who cared enough to stay. For Ayan, hope was terrifying. It asked him to believe again, to risk disappointment after years of learning not to expect anything. Some nights he lay awake, afraid it would all vanish like it had before. But each morning, when he put on a borrowed uniform and earned his wage honestly, something inside him healed. It was not the money alone, it was the return of purpose. As weeks turned into months, their lives changed in ways neither anticipated. Zara found fulfillment she had never felt in boardrooms or bonuses. Her success gained meaning when shared, when used to lift rather than separate. Ayan regained more than stability. He regained voice, confidence, and the courage to imagine a future beyond survival. They were no longer strangers passing each other unseen. They were proof that empathy could cross boundaries wealth had built. Their connection inspired others too. Colleagues began volunteering. Neighbors started noticing the unseen. One act of kindness rippled outward, touching lives neither of them would ever fully know. But the true transformation was internal. Zara learned that privilege carried responsibility, not guilt. Ayan learned that asking for help did not make him weak. Both learned that dignity grows when people meet each other as equals, not categories. The underpass no longer felt like a place of endings. For Ayan, it was where life bent but did not break. For Zara, it was where she learned to see. The city kept moving, loud and indifferent, but something within it had shifted. Two lives aligned long enough to remind the world of its humanity. If this story stirred something inside you, if it reminded you of the power of compassion and connection, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. In the end, empathy did not erase inequality, but it softened its edges. It did not solve every problem, but it proved that change begins when people stop walking past each other. Strangers became allies, wealth met humility, and kindness found its way home. And somewhere in the noise of the city, a quiet truth remained. No one is invisible when someone chooses to truly see.